right, everybody, the moment has arrived. You can see us.
No!
4 years of just hearing us ramble on about our favorite experiences in Disney parks and being told we're dumb. And now you can put a face to the name. I'm Erik, that's Christian. And first things first, we apologize that you have to look at our faces. But, they tell us video is the way to go. So we're going to try this out.
Let's do it, baby. Get the TikTok. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But we're working on it. We're working on stuff. But yeah, like you said, the video is the way to go. So here we are.
Yeah.
You never know. We might just be doing vlogs in the parks one day, Erik. You never know.
Are we going to become those people, which we love, by the way?
We love those people, but they put in way more work than I do.
They know what they're doing. We have no idea what we're doing. No, which is a great way to promote the show right off the top.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not just going to be you and I. Sometimes maybe we'll invite some judges on, or actually we want to hear the fans at home, their comments as well. And Christian, why don't you tell them how they can get involved?
Yeah, you just got to go to speakpipe.com/draftingthemagic, SPEAKPIPE.com/draftingthemagic, and it'll give you an opportunity to basically leave us a voicemail. What we're going to do is play that voicemail on the show. So, obviously, if you leave us a voicemail, you are giving us permission to use your voice. So get over it if you do it. And if you don't want us to do it, don't give us a speak pipe. Just live in the comments on Instagram like the rest of you. But regardless, I think it's a cool opportunity, and it expands the opportunity of the show to really be not necessarily listener supported, but like dynamic listener. You're giving us feedback. We're able to construct the show and even get the opinions that I assume everyone hates about us. I can't wait to hear them out loud. And
it's going to be great.
Not just read them in an Apple podcast review.
So the point of this portion of our show, normally we do our draft and we'll pick 5 experiences. We'll have the guest judge come on and tell us who the winner is. It's going to be a little different here in the visual portion. We're gonna do a whole bunch of different things today. We're going to debate a hot topic in the Disney parks world, which you can all probably guess what it is. Although I'm guessing we probably put it in the title of the video, so you probably already know. But Christian and I were talking the other day about Tiana's Bayou adventure. And of course, now all the videos have been released. Well, not all of them, but a good portion of them showing off the attraction. I think the odd part for me is that they unveiled the finale scene, which is an interesting strategy. We'll get into that. But my first inclination about this attraction is it looks fantastic. Christian, I don't know if you think it looks fantastic, but I do. But I know you, and you probably have thoughts.
I do have thoughts, and they're not the same. I do think the animatronics look amazing.
Yeah.
I think the visual elements that they've kind of showcased are amazing. That being said, and it's tough to do this. It's tough to do what they're doing without doing this. It looks like a cover-up. It looks like covering up something that's already been there, when I wish it's like when you're redoing a house, things are structural sometimes, and you got to keep posts or walls or whatever it might be. And I don't know what that is, but the scene of the cave when you're in there, I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem like it was that much changed versus, I guess, just some things that they could add in or take out a little bit. Even when you're going through that little cavern as you're walking. Ooh, I hope you're not walking on this ride. As you're traveling
Please don't do that. We don't need
down
another
the
video.
bayou, as it were, towards that internal part of the attraction, where it's the same exact rock wall that maybe they painted it a different color, but and they've added some foliage to the top. And of course, if you look at it from the front, they cut off a tree at the top and they made everything look like it's a giant plant. But there's some things where I'm just like, you didn't do enough. And we've talked about this before, Erica, that this is a heavily scrutinized project, right? Whether it be because of all the political, differences, whatever, who cares about all that stuff? It's not there anymore. Now we're looking at it as what they've done. And I'm like, yeah, we talk about, okay, Tower of Terror turning into Guardians of the Galaxy. They did a pretty good job of kind of covering up Tower of Terror stuff. And you really don't see Tower of Terror stuff in there, besides maybe when the doors close and you're just like, oh, that kind of looks like the exact same door. I didn't want to see the exact same look in this attraction. I wanted things to look different, be vibrant. And there are plenty of places where it seems that way. I just don't know if it's all that way. And I don't want it to be oh yeah, this was Splash Mountain. Like when I go on Monsters Inc., Mike and Sully to the rescue, I'm not like, oh yeah, this was Superstar Limo, even though there's plenty of things that point it towards Superstar Limo. I'm like, okay, they've decorated this. There's just maybe the problem, as I'm now convincing myself what the problem was. There's just so much they would have had to have decorated. That this attraction is huge. At some point, the money
Yeah,
runs out in the decor department.
you can talk about decor all day, but let's be real. This attraction is the main draw to it is the drop. It's the drop. It's the other drops, the smaller ones, and the dip inside the attraction. That's what this thing is known for.
Yeah.
And that's really the draw for it. All the other stuff, the animatronics are great. I know there's some screens in there. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But is it possible that you're just saying that it looks like a layover because you know what was there?
Because I know it's a layover.
And you know what it was. Yeah, you know what it was. I mean, you can't cover up the drop, right? At its core, this attraction is exactly the same. You're just kind of changing the storyline and some of the animatronics, which for my dollar look way better than what was already in there, based on the videos we've seen that they released the other day. But I don't know. You're always going to think this is Splash.
Well, and I wonder.
That's fine because that's what at its core it is.
Well, and you bring up a good point of. Well, you didn't bring this point up, but I've thought about this in the way you've explained it. Is all of us that went on Splash are going to know this was Splash, but for the kids that never did, and we've always talked about it, the changes they are making now is not for our generation.
No,
maybe not even for the kids of today. They are thinking about what the kids beyond the kids of today are going to be thinking. Do people know it's Tower of Terror in 50 years when now it's Guardians of the Galaxy? Do people remember Tower of Terror? Oh, probably not. Do people remember Splash Mountain? Well, probably not. If you never went on Splash Mountain, it's just going to be a cool Tiana ride. So, and that's the element that I can't think about, right? I can't put myself in those shoes because I have been on Splash Mountain. But now thinking about the generation next of my kid who's 2 years old right now, he will have never gone on Splash Mountain. He'll go on Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and he'll probably think it's a pretty cool Tiana's Bayou Adventure ride.
They're gonna get the lore, right? I mean, they're gonna hear it from their parents and their friends who know the history of the park, but in all reality, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're right. At some point, nobody's going to care that it used to be Splash Mountain because none of them will have experienced it.
Yeah.
I mean, look what's going.
Well, go ahead. Go. I was going to say, or look like at the emotional whirl around it, Inside Out. No one sits there and goes, "Oh, this was Flicks Flyers." Right. They just say, "Oh, this ride still is terrible." Anyway.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I'm going to take one of your quotes. He's not wrong, folks. He's not wrong. Yeah, I mean, look, everything in there looks great. I think if I can switch gears a little bit to what's actually in there when it comes to animatronics versus screens.
Switching gears. How dare you?
You're welcome. I think the screens in there are placed perfectly. They don't, no one's going there being like, oh, great screens. They're kind of intertwined in there. So I think that's a nice touch. We've heard it from the public. We're done with screen-based attractions. We don't want to see them anymore. It's cheap. It's lazy. Flight of Passage was it. No more after that. Thank you. We're done. And it looks good. I mean, there was in that finale scene, I couldn't even tell there were screens at first glance. It took me a second to realize it wasn't all animatronics. So when you can blend it that seamlessly, you've done a good job. I know you're concerned about the cave portion where there looks like there might be a projection in there, but it's fine. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why I think when you say it reminds me of Splash, it looks like Splash, they didn't do a ton in here. I think they did enough that you're not going to remember after a certain while. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I'm just tired of people complaining about everything. I don't mean you. I just mean everybody in general. That's all.
I do complain about everything. So that's that. And one of the things that I want to complain about, Eric, and the way you kind of teased it, the way they've marketed this is just different than what they've done before. And is that because Is that because of the scrutiny it got way back in the day? The fact that I feel like I've seen, if not all, most of the big animatronics. The fact that I've seen ride through footage, not because I dug through a YouTube group. No, they've advertised this now.
Right.
That seems so different versus what we've seen previously with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, even Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. But I think that's just and I guess Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. But I think that's just because we know Marvel to be super secretive until they want you to see it, so they don't show it to you yet.
Right.
But this seems weird. Like this seems like a weird marketing standpoint of, hey, here's all the cool stuff. What?
This
why
is
do why do I
this
need to go
is
on the ride?
it's the era we live in, especially with this attraction in general, and with how much publicity it got when they first announced Splash was closing and they were redoing it. And like you said, there were the political undertones there that everybody started complaining about, whether it was a good idea that it should go away or it was a bad idea that we're getting rid of it. That part doesn't matter anymore. But because that did happen, now you have to market this thing differently. You're laying over an iconic attraction with a newer storyline, and you have to do a good job. And the only way to kind of persuade all those naysayers is you have to show what's going in there earlier than you would have liked. So I think the marketing point where everyone's like, oh, this is different. Why are they showing all this? Yes, it's weird to us because it's something we haven't seen before and it's a little spoilery, but you almost have to prove to these people that, yeah, it's fine. It's going to look great. We saw the animatronics in a lot of their videos they released on YouTube and on social media. Now you see where they are on the ride. I mean, how much more can a robot move that's going to impress you at this point in time? We've seen it with the Navi shaman. We saw it even as far back as when Ursula debuted in The Little Mermaid. Like those things were eye popping when we first saw them, and now Ursula is like old news. Like people will look at that and go, "Oh, that's it."
Ursula's old news, and Ariel has been meeting people in a back alley and getting something in a plastic bag. But anyway,
but I just the marketing has to change, and you have to show people what they're getting into before they actually get into it. Spoilers nowadays, especially with attractions, people just want to see it now. I mean, that's why we talk about our friends in the video blogging world who are going through the park every day and showing all the stuff. They always post these spoilers, and yet their videos have millions of views. People do want to see these things before they come out. You're going to have your handful of people who don't want to see it, like me, although I couldn't avoid it this week because it was everywhere. But if I know I'm going to go on an attraction, I really don't want to watch it, but this week was hard to avoid it, so I saw it. Okay, that's where marketing is going to have to go. People are just so skeptical nowadays. It's like, here, you know what? Fine, take a look at this. What do you? Is this good enough for you? If not, don't come. They're never going to tell you that straight out. But
that's called the blue sky approach. And anyway, no.
Yeah, but I mean, now it's like, here it is. What do you think? And we're not changing it either. So just get used to it.
And I wonder, and we haven't talked about this, but I wonder if this is Disney's answer to the vloggers in the parks that break all that news.
Interesting.
What if Disney's just like, all right, we'll do it.
Like, we're going to beat you to
it. I wonder if that was and you and I are not in on that conversation. And so, I'm just speculating I wonder if they're just like, screw it. What if we do it? What if we're the ones?
Yeah, we're going to show it first. That's an interesting point.
What if we need YouTube clicks on our Imagineering account? So
yeah,
let's make a show about it. And I wonder.
And I mean, the day that we're recording this episode, which obviously we're not live, maybe one day we will be, but this show isn't. But look who got a new Instagram handle on the day we're shooting. Downtown Disney has their own Instagram account now, so they can showcase all their things instead of having to weave it in with all the other Disneyland posts. So now you're seeing the social footprint to spread a little bit. So your theory there, that may carry some water, that we're going to get it out before anybody goes in there and films it ourselves. Now, look, you and I have worked in the parks, and we have seen many of attraction before it ever opened to the public. And you know how strict they were with us with,
signing NDAs.
Yeah, signing NDAs, covering up your phones, bagging them up, not being able to get any footage of that sort. Well, now when they do if they do Magic Key previews, they're going to have to, they can't do it to the Magic Key holders, right? They've always let them film things.
Mm-hmm.
And those videos were hitting the internet and the social channels way before Disney ever was like, hey, look it, this is our attraction. So yeah, you might be right. Maybe they're just trying to get ahead of the ball nowadays, which will be wildly interesting once we get into all the Disneyland Forward expansion and once those attractions start opening up and how much video they're going to post on those. But I mean, overseas, we've already seen. I mean, look, they did those behind the scenes at Fantasy Springs a couple of weeks ago too, where we got to see little pieces of attractions. So
Mm-hmm.
the marketing minds have to shift a little bit over there, and it looks like they're the first ones to start doing it.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if that's
Hmm.
their play. I literally just thought about that as we're recording. I don't have this written down at all. I'm just like, I wonder if they're
Yeah.
just trying to beat people to the punch. I wonder if they want to be, if they want that traffic, because it gets traffic. And there are people like you, Eric, who don't want to see something before they go on it.
Mhm.
And then there's people who are like me. I'm like, okay, I need to see the whole Frozen ride. Give it to me. Like, I need to
Right.
see I want to see the animatronics. I want to see what you did. And so maybe that's just their new way of approach. I don't know.
And to be fair, I mean, watching a video and experiencing person obviously is two
Completely
wildly
different.
different things. So maybe it won't ruin it for you if you watch it.
I rode Guardians Cosmic Rewind after watching it online because I just wanted to see how it worked, and that's cool. And
I still haven't watched a video. I've been good. I've
yeah, you
stayed
still
away from
haven't ridden it either. Come on, get out there.
No, that's true.
But
That is true.
But it is just a, it, like I remember seeing the oh gosh, it's on Rise of the Resistance. When Kylo's lightsaber pierces through the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing that on promos. I was like, I've got to see that. I've got to see it in person. And in person it feels completely different than when you even see it on that promo. Like there's a level of I guess, intrigue or scare to it that I think they do very well. And so, maybe this is that. Maybe this is them just getting ahead of the spoiler alert people and them doing the, hey, look at our stuff.
Yeah.
Now come see it in person.
So you and I are literally the two different target demographics they have for these type of things,
Mhm.
because you're going to have the people who do want to see it first, and you're going to have the people who are like, I'm going to wait till I get on that attraction. So it's hard to market to both of those worlds, but if you're pleasing one, the other one can avoid it, I guess.
Well,
but
and
you might as well have something out there for people to see just in case. Plus, I mean, you do have other folks who I'm sure have never been on the attraction before, and they see that drop and they think it's extremely harrowing, and maybe they want to see it from a point of view aspect first before they decide whether or not they want to ride the attraction. I know
yeah.
they did a lot of that with Tower of Terror when it 1st
Mhm.
opened too. It was, this is pretty intense. Here's the rider's point of view video. We'll let you make the decision.
Yeah, I interesting thoughts that of these things that could be, and like you said, the Disneyland Forward, which now has been approved by the city, and boy, I'm like driving past the area going, okay, where's the shovel? Let's go, let's get it going. Come on. Obviously, it's not going to move that quickly, but I'm just like, you said over the next 10 years you'd spend this money. I think you can build a whole second or third theme park in that. No, that's not the way this is going to work.
Yeah, you and I are going to be long past retired once that project is done.
Yeah, retired might be the word that I want to use, but you and I might be expired by the time that project's done. So, which stinks because I'm excited for it. But, all the stuff that going into that Disneyland Forward and everything else, we got some stuff to be excited for at the Disneyland Resort finally. And boy, I mean, every time they put a camera above the walls of Haunted Mansion, I'm just like, what did they do? Oh, they just bulldozed a wall. Cool, that's fun. I wonder what they're going to put there now.
That's another interesting thing about when you talk about logistics and how people move around the park, or with Fantasmic coming back, they're going to need all that space, and soon. I wasn't there for reopening night, as it were, the other day, but I can imagine it was probably packed to the brim.
Did you hear the thing that the show director or somebody said? They're like, yeah, we might bring something back at some point, but I can't really talk about that. I'm like,
we know
now we're acknowledging that you're actually going to do it at some point.
We knew it was going to happen. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to take a while for them to,
It'll be a 5th anniversary. It'll be a, for the 75th. I bet you it's for the 75th.
Yeah, it could be.
It gives them plenty of time.
Yeah, next year's 70, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah,
so it gives them plenty of time to get it
It could be done. It could be done for 70. They could get it done in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe add some fireproofing to it.
Well,
Maybe.
I mean, to get where they are now, they had to do, I'm sure, a ton of extensive work to repair things. So it's got to be somewhat close to being able to bring something like that back. But the actual, whatever you want to call it, animatronic puppet, whatever it is, by the time they build a new one of those, yeah, it's going to take a while and to implement it into the system.
I was going to say load in for that's got to be like, I would assume that wasn't built on the island. I would assume they built it somewhere else. And so
choppered that thing in.
Load in and, you always see the flying elephant every once in a while for Jungle Cruise. So you might see a dragonfly. You never know. Oh, a dragonfly. Moving on.
Oh my gosh. That ties back to Tiana's.
There you go.
Boom. All right, Christian, that was the big topic this week. With Disney parks, of course, it had to be Tiana's Bayou Adventure. But hey, it's something else that we're going to be able to draft soon when we get back to drafting the Magic, which season 3 coming your way this fall, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's the hope and the prayer and the guess at this point. No, I'm kidding. We're actually going to do it. We're going to do it on time this time. And we're excited for it, man. But, it only can happen when people, follow along and help us. And, we've gathered a little bit of a following recently, and now it's time to give the people what they want. They want content, Eric. They want 6 episodes a week, Eric. Maybe not.
Well, I know they want more drafts because that's all I hear about. So we're going to do that. Like you said, we're going to have new judges, going to have a whole new cast come on here every week and judge how you and I do, which is usually pretty terrible, but we're going to try to get better at things with the drafting and make people happy as only we can. Don't forget, you can follow us on Instagram and on X and on Facebook at Drafting the Magic. Although on X, it's at Drafting Magic because I couldn't fit the in there. It was too long of a handle. You're welcome for that. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, do whatever you need to do on YouTube at Drafting the Magic. We're on there too. And you know that because that's where you're watching this. So that makes sense. But don't forget to click all those buttons and get your notification for the next time we do a little debate here on the YouTube.
And make sure that you play along with all the games we got going on the social medias. It's not super consistent as of now, but it's gonna be. And we just debuted the Test Your Knowledge, Drafting the Magic, Test Your Knowledge. It's quizzes. It's just Disney trivia like everybody else does, but it's fun. And ours is a little bit different. It gives you a little bit more of an insight into things. And of course, we do have the this or that. Eric, that has waged wars.
Yeah, and I think we're going to talk about that on our next show here on the YouTubes, as I like to call it. This or that it's always a fun thing to debate. The number of people who will answer a question and then DM us on Instagram and say, "Are you serious? People are really voting for the other thing."
How is this a question? That's my favorite one. How is this a question?
Yeah. How is this a question?
Or 44% of people were wrong.
They get more upset than we do.
Yeah,
and you and I just sit back and laugh.
It's fun to watch. And then the DTM question of the day. We just want to know what your favorite things are, whether it be, I don't know, what's your favorite Disney roller coaster? Whatever it might be. We get a lot of people give us a lot of different answers for that too. And when people are like, "Oh, I love Monsters Inc., Mike and Sully to the rescue," I'm like, man, maybe they shouldn't take this out. Just kidding. Sorry, guys. They need to take it out. But regardless, I think that we've got some cool stuff. We've got some cool stuff planned down the line. This or that might get really interesting really
it gets heated
quick.
It gets
not only heated, but we might turn it into a little tournament.
Oh, was that a spoiler?
It might have been a spoiler.
We're allowed to do spoilers now. Disney's doing it. Why can't we do it?
You're darn right. It's not a spoiler. Here is everything that we do. You don't even need to go on the ride. Just kidding. Still, like, subscribe, and go on Apple Podcasts. Rate and review this show, our Drafting the Magic podcast, because we want to hear all the cool stuff you have for us. Just kidding. It just helps us. It shows us that people are watching, and it shows Apple, hey, people are watching. People are listening. Let these people stay on. They've threatened us multiple times, folks. We've gotten cease and desist. No, I'm kidding.
Could you imagine? It wouldn't surprise me at this point. But
I like
whatever
it.
you comment and whatever you answer on the Instagram stories, maybe we'll read it here on the show and get you involved too.
Or
So we
go-
want everybody, or go to SpeakPipe.
SpeakPipe, or go to SpeakPipe, and then we'll just play it, and we won't even
Yeah.
listen to it beforehand. We won't. Then we'll have to judge whether we have to cut it or not.
A blind listening.
We'll see. Well, maybe not.
We'll do those during lives. That way,
Yes.
there's nothing we can do. We can't get out of
Yeah.
it. There's no editing. We'll make
You
things
guys
really.
know that you're the worst. Okay. All right. Thanks, Mom. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, it's another one from a family member. We'll move on to the next one.
Shout out to your family, by the way. For no one at home knows what I'm talking about, but you do.
I'm not going to mention which family members it was because that'd be
that would be
messed
rude.
up.
But
like Christian mentioned, we're doing the trivia questions on the Instagram page, and it's a multiple choice question. There's 4 answers, and only one of them is correct. And 3 of my family members the other day were the first 3 to answer the question. All 3 of them were wrong, and they all picked a different answer.
it was impressive, actually.
Neither one of them got it right, and they all picked something different. Only my family could go 0 for 3 in that category.
And something that was so close to your Disney heart too.
Oh my goodness! Oh, and I let them know about it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, as soon as I saw it, there were screenshots being sent and just me scalding everyone involved.
Good.
Yeah. No, it was deserved.
And that's what we do here. We make families
fun.
fight. We make families fight. Do you have a peaceful and happy family? Listen to Drafting the Magic, and then everything's going to change.
It's what Walt would have wanted.
Oh, jeez.
That cease and desist letter is definitely on its way.
Yep.
Definitely on its way.
Can't wait.
I think I legally have to say that everything we just said is sarcasm. I'm just going to put that out there.
It was. I promise, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, buddy, I guess we'll see you for the next video podcast.
We'll see you next time. Oh, man. You'll see us next time. I apologize.
All right.